live on YouTube?
Well, it'll be here before you know it, so don't wish your life away. I used to
walking
think
in
that's
here.
perfect. When I was teaching school, I thought
Welcome.
I'm teaching, but I used to think, oh, count the years and I can just do whatever I want. Now that I've done it for 13 years, it's been I'm on 68, and you think this is the time of the life, but you can't even remember things.
Okay, welcome everyone to our Community Services Board meeting for Thursday, October 21st, 2021. It is 7:04, and let's get started with our meeting. Would anyone like to offer an invocation or an inspirational thought?
Say an invocation.
Okay.
Our Father in heaven, we thank thee for this opportunity to meet together as a board. We thank thee for this chance to serve our community, and we ask that thy Spirit will be here with us to help us to work together well and to guide our decisions. We thank thee for all of our blessings, and we ask these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And Dave, I forget to put on there, but we could do the pledge too.
Okay. Well, I've never done this before. Kyle had to skip out on the meeting, so it falls on me. Let's move down to approving the meeting minutes from last month. Actually, no, it's from. Last month. Sorry, I was reading the month before that. Do I have a motion to approve the?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's move on to our new business. Number 2.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that we wanted to share with this board is we've had several of our department staff receive their what's called certified Parks and Recreation Professional Certification. And let me just read a little bit about that. There's some eligibility requirements that are required to receive this. So one, it is a actual test. You pay, study really hard, and take the test for certification. And not everyone passes. They have to have received or set to receive a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. They have to have worked at least 1 year of full-time experience in the field. They have to have it talks about just the learning requirements for that, and it says that why become a CPRP? Join an elite group of more than 6,700 people who have committed to advancing this field. Increase your confidence in outside groups in the community and to benefit your organization, etc. One of the things that I actually emailed our National Parks and Recreation Association, the person that did this, and I said, how many members of NRPA, so National Recreation and Parks Association, are there? Not everybody that does Parks and Rec is a member, but those that actually pay membership, there's over 60,000. And so when you consider that there is just under 6,700 that are certified, that makes 11% is all of all the professionals that actually get the certification. So it is a pretty good group to be part of. And so I was able to do this in 2019, and Shauna Joe and Eric Holt both accomplished this year. So kudos to them. They both were unable to be here. They've been doing other programs today, but we will give them a little bit of recognition back at the department, but just wanted to bring this to this group and share that. So kudos to them.
Thank you. That is pretty impressive. Okay, let's move down to number 3.
So on this one, just a reminder for those that were gone last meeting, we actually talked about and approved the idea of going to quarterly, where we would have a little bit more define things to discuss each quarter, and then in between the quarter, we would assign the board members kind of a topic area or two, and then if you were able to, you could kind of participate in those areas kind of a little bit, whether it's events or programs, and then maybe bring some ideas back, not required, but so that it wasn't necessarily that we were just meeting to meet. And so these are the assigned areas that we were looking at. So Kyle would be events and arts, Sarah outdoor recreation and trails, David sports and classes, Stephanie events and arts, Keela museum and seniors, and Jessica sports and classes. And Nick already has a whole bunch of assignments for the next month or two. Is there any concerns or questions about those? Okay, so we would actually not meet again until
I think it's
the
January 20th.
oh, it says right there. Yeah, Thursday, January 20th. So that leads to why the really cool little gift baskets in front of you. So Hattie, in her wisdom, is already thinking of holiday spirit, and we're not going to be getting together really Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, and so just a little thank you for serving, and so thank you, Hattie, for doing that. We appreciate it. So we'll go to there, knowing that even if you're not part of, let's say, your sports and classes, but you want to help at an event, you can still do that too. But it just gives people kind of an area that they would like to kind of focus in. So
I guess I have one question about that. Are you looking for us to kind of instigate that sort of thing, or are you going to give us assignments to work on through the...
So the department's actually going to be doing those events, but looking for opportunities. So with you, with arts and events, knowing that, hey, we're going to be planning, the art festival in 2022, helping to get some things defined there, and the staff, I think, will kind of lead out. But also, hey, we've got a night at the museum. Would you like to participate? Type of thing. Or Akila's already, she's tied to that event like
Glue.
5 different ways, right? Helping out.
Glue, string.
On the
tape,
museum
whatever.
side, the royalty side, the community board side, and so forth. So, and by the way, those flyers in front of you now would be just as good a time as to mention those. But those are the upcoming events, and if you're interested in helping in one of those 2 days, just reach out to us and let us know, and we can definitely put you to work. So the night at the museum is actually this Saturday and then next Monday, and we have, I would say, several hundred people that are pre-registered.
Yay.
Awesome.
So interesting enough, nobody signs up for the food with pre-registration, but they did sign up. So we will still have concessions, nachos and hot dogs and stuff like that. So I think as people go through the tour and they end in the senior center portion of the building, we'll have that available if they want to purchase concessions, and have some other free games that will be available on that senior side of the museum.
And may I just say, the museum looks awesome. It looks so cute.
They've been working really hard, and they've recruited lots of helpers. And we just really appreciate Annette and Katie taking the lead on that. And it's a fun thing, and maybe something that we could expand maybe to multiple times of the year down the road. But the concept of getting people to the museum, this whole night at the museum thing is just, it's appealing, I think, to people with a theme.
It's great that they're doing 2 nights, just because people will hear about it, and then they'll tell people, and they'll be like, well, they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like, oh, next year you can do it, and you forget about it or something. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
They did 2
And
nights
can-
last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And can I give kudos, a shout out to Greg Fowkes? He has been awesome last year as well as this year to just allow us to use so many of his decor, Halloween decor. It's awesome just because of him. I mean, Katie and Annette and our families, especially Annette and Katie's family, put it all together, but we could not have that museum looking like it does without Greg. He's been awesome, and I need to talk to you about him afterwards if I could.
Awesome, you bet. Great.
Yeah,
and
he's been
and we'll
awesome.
make sure to say thank you as well, but please, when you see him, let him know that.
Yeah,
Um,
it just looks phenomenal, and it's a big thanks to him because of it.
and I again, going back to the 2 days, I love it. It's a little bit more work, but so many more people can go. This is such a busy time of the year, isn't it? Around Halloween. We actually did a cornhole tournament, just to give you a little update, and we had nearly 40 teams sign up. So cornhole continues to be awesome, and it happened to be Monday night when it was just pouring, and so thankfully we were able to move across the street into Santaquin Elementary, and we took up both sides of the gym and had families and people, about 13, 14 boards just filled up, and Hattie was there, and Shauna Joe helping me, and it went really smooth considering it's a game meant to be outside and not on floors that slide, and it's small spaces, and the people all just left saying, when can we do the next event? So they're having a good experience, and we're finding as a department more little things like that where you add a new event that reaches a new group of people that maybe don't come out to this event. And so the more things that we can do, whether it's Miss Santaquin or the fishing club or the sports or cornhole, rodeo, we're very diverse, and I think that we can even continue to do that as we're developing the cultural arts. There's a lot of people that are just excited to get that going, and the outdoor recreation side, right? And the trails, and people are just, it's exciting.
Well, I liked seeing all the posts about it. Like, I don't play cornhole, but then I'm like, oh, it looks really fun. I want to try, So I liked seeing all the posts about it because it makes me like, oh, looks pretty interesting, like something I would want to try. So I like that. Excellent.
Are most of the people from Santaquin that have signed up, or is it bringing people from other communities? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would say 3/4 from Santaquin, 1/4 not. The last person I signed up was from Orem that had just heard about it.
Wow.
We kind of did a little partnering with the chamber, the Payson Santaquin Chamber, and they borrowed our boards for their event and Onion Days, but then they actually advertised for us. And so we did get some people that heard about our event through their cornhole tournament, and so there was a good partnership that way too. So we now have about 15 sets of cornhole.
That's awesome.
Just with that many different teams. But the interesting thing with disc golf, I don't remember if I mentioned this last month. That one we had, there's 9 holes, and you max out about 36 people because you want about 4 to each hole, and then they rotate like with golf. And I would say the majority were from out of town. So that one is a little bit different. There was some local people, but really majority were from out of town that had just heard about it through their association and their Facebook pages. And so, yeah. Any other event updates we can give?
Can I just make one more comment about Greg Fowkes?
Yes.
I just need to make sure that everybody knows that's here and is listening that he actually approached us. We did not approach him. He said, "How can I help?" And I thought that was just awesome that he made the initial reaching out. And I thought that was great. I just needed to share that.
And he helped significantly last year's event too.
Oh, absolutely. Both years, last year and again this year. He's just been awesome. So I just thought he's the one that reached out to us. So
let's make sure we put that on the record too.
Yeah, and he's also helping with the Christmas time activities as well. So I know Shauna Joe has been in contact with him.
Oh,
as well.
I'm really glad to hear that. I didn't realize she'd been in contact with him.
Yeah, she talked to him yesterday maybe. So he'll be helping with other things and donating some prizes and whatnot for the other things coming up.
So maybe while we're talking about additional things that Greg is doing, he has offered, but this is one of the things I want to chat with you, besides something else that I probably won't bring up here, but he also, in my communication with him, said that next year for like the concerts in the park, he has a portable stage that he would
we could look
look into. I don't understand the ins and outs of that. Okay. He did say that, so. And a sound system.
Nice. So I was just starting to map out a little bit 2022 event schedule and starting to list things, and it's amazing. And I haven't shared it with my staff yet because I don't want to blow them away before the holidays, but just the stuff that's already on the calendar, 2022 is going to be amazing. And we're just going to continue to add, everything from the movies in the park to the concerts to, we're having discussions, hey, could we do more than one thing a year at the rodeo grounds and so forth. And Shauna Joe, perfect timing. We're going to have you sit up here so that you can give them an update on holidays. So, but just in general, there's a lot of exciting events, and we'll bring things up, and we want your input and insights. And leading up to it. But we'll actually bring, maybe the next one in January, we'll bring a calendar of all the things that are planned, which are exciting. But what we've been doing, Sean and Joe, is just giving them an update on some of the events. I'm going to let you give them an update on the Mayor's Walk event and then holidays.
Okay. So an update on the Mayor's Walk. We've gone around. We've probably hit a third of the businesses in town personally, but we sent a letter out to the businesses through the chamber early on. I don't know if you're aware of it, but just inviting businesses to come join us in giving candy to kids on Halloween. Just trying to create a safe, fun environment for kids on Halloween. We realize they're still going to go trick-or-treating and stuff, but the mayor will lead the kids in a costume parade, and the city council will have an opportunity to like pick like best costume, scary costume, and all the kids are going to have great costumes. So I think it's a really mean thing to do to the city council, to be honest. So sorry. But the idea is that they walk away, and we've got some cute little paper bags that we've got some fun little surprises in them. We got some trophies for first place, which are, they weren't fancy by any means, but they're just fun. It's a little skeleton holding a pumpkin. So that's kind of fun. And then we've also invited the community to bring carved pumpkins or painted pumpkins, which in hindsight, I kind of thought we really need to include families that paint pumpkins, because a lot of people are moving more towards painting pumpkins than carving. But we are going to also do a first, second, and third place with the painted pumpkins. Or not, it's not that. It's scariest pumpkin, best painted pumpkin, funniest painted pumpkin, that kind of stuff. So there's not really a first, second, or third place. And then with that, we also have invited the community. One of the things that John and I learned after we started to advertise this event, because not any of us were really here.
Well, we're new, but we got your feedback as a board last month saying there should be an opportunity for the public to come and hand out candy at the same event,
right?
Which was great.
But we've also had a lot of public reach out to us and ask us if there was going to be a trunk or treat. We're like, come, bring your car, and
we'll save them a spot.
Hand out candy. We're going to save a spot for people that just want to come and hand out candy. Awesome. So they don't have to sign up. Businesses helps us if they sign up, because like if Weedman wants to do it, I can get a corrugated board with your logo on it saying thank you Weedman for being here. So that's kind of the idea with the Mayor's Walk. The Santaquin holidays, we're super excited about it. If you haven't seen the logo, I had many different people put their 2 cents in, and including Penny back here, she got to put in her 2 cents. But the logo that was mostly voted for was the one with Santaquin City logo with Santa Claus and his reindeer up in the mountain. So, and then we have a little Santa hat on the S for Santaquin, and people like that. An update, I think it's really funny that I get excited about some of these things, but I got really excited when we went and got the outdoor propane heaters. So I'm excited about that. We've got Apex on board. They're going to donate a shed for us to have Santa Claus in. We've reached out to the Payson Chamber to get entries from previous years. I'm kind of hitting a wall there, but John, you've reached out to 2 other businesses,
for like the light parade,
like Nephi, and then we're just hitting some other groups to see if they have entries that we can ask for. We do have Santa. Hattie's working on this with part of her internship, and so she got Santa and Mrs. Claus? No. Just Santa. Okay. I couldn't remember what we got, so... But we've got a Santa.
But a red costume and white beard, the whole...
And his name's Quinn. Yes, it is a real beard. Santa Quinn. Just kidding. We don't know what his name is. We've decided that Santa's name is really Quinn, though, so that's kind of where we're headed with that.
In case there's little children watching this.
We have started to line up different dance groups and singing groups, and we have confirmed with the Joyful Sounds. Oh, what is it called?
The Bell Group.
Yes, the Bells of Joyful Sounds from Salt Lake. So they're going to come and do a live concert at Apple Valley Elementary on Friday to kind of help us kick it off. We have already got some craft booths started signing up for the vendors, which is kind of exciting. And so now we're working on some food trucks and getting some of those in there. I did order one fire ring today, and I've talked with the Red Barn, and they're going to work with us a little bit. I'm hoping that they can help us with a few things to help us save on some costs. And so I did talk with Jace, and they don't actually run anything during the winter. So they said this would be kind of fun for them to be involved with it, they thought. So hopefully we can work out some things there.
The big
What other
highlighted
things?
late in the evening when it's dark.
Oh yeah, we got fireworks. Those are ordered.
Wow.
Those are ordered. And is it Max Robbins? The same guy that does them for the rodeo. Now I can't think of his name.
Mark Robbins.
Mark Robbins. I'm like, is it Max? Okay. He's on board and he's excited. So that we're probably going to do it out of the rodeo grounds instead of over behind the elementary school, so people can sit on the elementary school grass if they want to. But we are going to have the fire rings and marshmallow roasting and stuff going on right there in the park with food trucks and different things. So that's kind of fun. Another really,
What day
sorry,
is that?
that'll be on Saturday.
So is
So
everything on Saturday?
It's
Some on Friday.
yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
December the
10th and 11th.
10th and 11th. So instead of we're kind of making a shift away from the Saturday after Thanksgiving that was so busy for everyone, a fun tradition but very busy, to more in December. And I think you're really going to see the marketing ramped up the next few weeks after we get done with all the Halloween activities. We kind of have to focus on all that stuff before we really get into all the December stuff. But
So in the
Santaquin's being turned into a little Hallmark movie.
yes, and the fun thing
Awesome.
is right after we started advertising for this, I saw a post for Christmas Downtown, and it just happens to be on December 10th or December 11th from 11 to 2. And so I found out who was in charge of doing that, and it happens to be Hillary Owens. And they are excited to team up with us. We won't be taking over their little event, and they're not going to take over our little event, but we're going to advertise together and make it part of everything we're doing. So Christmas on Main is also part of Santaquin holidays. So, and all those businesses that are participating on Christmas in Maine, we'll try and make sure to thank them for donating to the Christmas on Main activity and stuff like that. So we've talked, and she's going to get with us and come and talk about all the events they're trying to do. And we're going to share with her what we're trying to do, and we're kind of excited about that. What questions do you have?
I have a question. Since
Okay.
so much of this is happening in the park, could one of the trees in the park have lights put on it, and
I
we
had
have a
someone
little
ask
tree
about
lighting
that.
moment, a tree
Do you
lighting
think-
moment?
Do
you know
think-
what? That's a really good question. I know that we're going to be planning a kind of a lighting for our tower.
Right.
It's at a different location.
Right.
And that's what I explained
and
to
our
somebody.
public works department, they work with the lights. We can definitely look into the options there.
I
It
just
would be
think it would be
Yeah, we'll have to look at
something
that.
definitely like they do like lights on events sometimes the weekend right after Thanksgiving, which is kind of what they're doing with the tower. Is they're still doing that. And we are going to be reaching out to businesses. When I first said this, I said businesses on Main Street, and they said, well, you're kind of discriminating against businesses that aren't on Main Street. And I said, well, we're not trying to do that. What we are inviting businesses in Santaquin to do is to do a storefront decoration of their business. And I haven't worked out the details yet with Hattie, because I think the emails will probably come into her, but we'll have them email a picture of their storefront decorated and saying we're participating, here's our contact and our address. And then, of course, we'll again let the city council, you got to be ready
Just keep
for this.
picking on them.
Yep. They're going to go out and pick which storefronts, first, second, and third, they feel like did the best decorating job for Christmas. But we could have them have those storefronts up by December 1st to participate. That way, they go on right after Thanksgiving, and it'll make it kind of fun.
It's fun.
So,
Maybe we should eventually maybe the city council could delegate some of these contests to the community services board to, we
Let
just
you guys
keep
pick.
picking on the city council we appreciate their support.
yeah. Any other questions? I see 3 questions. We'll start with Stephanie.
Okay. I saw that you're gonna have craft vendors. Is that all out at the park? And it was like all day.
Those will be in Santaquin Elementary School, and they
That
will
was my
start.
question. I was like, that seems cool to be out there all day.
Yeah, so
in
it'll
Santaquin
start in Santaquin Elementary on Friday night at 5:00, and then they'll be up till. So they'll start again on at 10 o'clock on Saturday and go till about 9, and then we're gonna let them clean up, and the fireworks will start at 9:30, I believe.
So everything's between the elementary and Centennial
Yes,
Park.
and Christmas on Main.
And Christmas on Main. So is the parade route going to run down Main Street? then, or
No,
it's just
it will
100
actually
South
go
still?
from the library
100 South still.
all the way to the park.
Yep.
On
So it's
100
gonna
South.
scoot farther down then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you have another question, Keela?
I was just, hallmarks running through my head. So I was just thinking, if there were a tree lighting in the park and then followed up with the fireworks, it would be so
I
explosive.
think it would
and
be
fun.
way ideal. I just don't know that it's within the budget or the money that the city has set aside this year. I think it's something we can
okay.
work towards where we light the park up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of lights in the park this year, but I think we'll continue to work for that towards next year and other years to come.
Okay.
But I think
Have
you'll
you
see
checked
lights.
with? Sorry, Greg, if you're watching.
Greg is
But
actually,
have
yes.
you checked with Greg about, because he's been so willing to donate so many lights and
He
stuff.
is donating first, second, and third light awards for our lights parade and our store window front. Like, he's giving first, second, and third place prizes for the window fronts. And I didn't dare ask him for more because of how much he's already donating. He's also doing the lights from what I was told at the museum. He's done that in years past. And I'm supposed to check if he's doing the lights for the senior center as well, because that was asked of me by the seniors. And then
I'm glad you've been in communication with him, because
Yes, I
he's been in communication with me, and I said, I don't know
We've
how to
been-
answer
we've
this because
talked
I'm
on
just
the-
on a board. I have no clout.
we've talked on the phone, so and
Awesome.
emails back and forth, and Nick's been in the loop on that also.
Awesome.
And then the other thing that I forgot to mention is I have a really great ride for Santa in the Lights Parade. The gentleman who is doing the ride for Santa is a really great guy by the name of, last name Gowdy. And he's doing like this really cool like wag, like
Is the reindeer there with it as well?
he might put antlers on
we
the horse.
could put some. We could put an antler on it, like in The Grinch That Stole Christmas, on the horse.
Yes, your husband offered to like let Santa ride in his buggy. So
Oh, the seats are even red. How
Yeah.
appropriate is
yes. Did you have a question?
I was wondering about the Bell Show. Are there tickets for that, or can anybody?
We are doing it for free, so we are not requiring tickets. The only problem I can foresee is if we really get a lot of people in attendance for that, and we end up having not enough seats. That's the only
Could it
concern that I
be
have with not doing tickets, but
Something
it's free.
you register for online,
Should I?
Like,
We
you don't have
could
to pay, but you have to like
limit
register to
the
go.
number.
Because it would be a bummer if you get your family, family's already
Well,
going over there and there's no space or something.
I've done that before because we've had fire issues where we did a thing called Night at the Museum, and the first year we did it, we had like 500 people pack into this museum to watch the Night of the Museum under the big dinosaur. And I was like, hey, fire code? And she looked at me, she goes, yeah, we're way past fire code. And so we started doing tickets, and what I found, and we can do it,
Well, we've got a full. There's seating on both sides of the gym. too,
yeah,
so
with the
there's-
bleachers. So we're going to pull the bleachers out, and we're going to put the chairs out in the center.
If we were to surpass that, I would be
Yeah.
really surprised the first year. But I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. But that's what I find is people get the tickets ahead of time, and then they don't turn them in if they don't come. And then you turn people away because they don't think they're seating.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah,
So-
So it might be this first year more of a watch and
Let's
learn.
try and see.
And then if we see that it's a significant problem, hopefully it's not. But
Maybe we let people pick up the tickets the day of.
I don't know, you don't want to complicate it. Maybe
Well,
if
I
there's
just-
enough seating, then
Yeah.
I just hate it when they pick them up 2 weeks early and then they don't come.
Right.
yeah.
So anyway,
I have one more question.
yes.
You've already contacted me about Miss Santaquin doing entertainment for holiday. Is that what you're calling it?
Yes, holidays.
Holidays.
Santaquin holidays.
So
And it's spelled Holly, like Holly.
got it. So Do you want to explain how that's going to work? And I still need to contact the girls. Sorry.
Oh, I actually talked. Molly works for us, and she
awesome.
comes all the time, and so she's excited. So she's kind of a little bit on board, but it wouldn't hurt for you to continue to work with her.
Okay. Can I back up one other question too? While you're talking about Miss Santaquin, do you need them for the tree lighting at the tower as well? Because last year we had one of our attendants.
That'll be
That
with our
one's
city
kind of out of my
council, so
hand.
we'll find out.
Okay,
We'll find
That
out
one's kind of
much
out of
more.
my hand.
because we've got some singers in that little trail, so
Yeah.
we could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was going to say that the entertainment is going to be inside Santaquin Elementary on the stage, but because we're going to have the craft vendors in there and we're going to have the gingerbread contest in there also, we are trying to make it so there's not a lot of seating. You're just kind of, the entertainment's just bringing people to the event, and they're doing short entertainment type things. So nothing's really that long. I've got a few groups signed up, but if you guys have groups that you think would be great, send them my way, because I've tried to reach out to as many as I can, and some of them I haven't got back with, and some of them tried to get with me. So I've just got to keep working on that.
Kind of like the
Keep
Von
rolling
Trapp
that.
family
Yeah.
singers, if you know anyone like that.
And I'm in a pouring class. I don't know if John told you where I was before I came. I just came straight from pouring, and I'm headed back.
What do
So
you mean by pouring?
Thank you, Shauna Joe.
okay,
It's an art pouring.
it's an art thing. It's really kind of cool.
Maybe we'll bring some pictures
I
next
could
time.
have
and show 'em.
brought my ones from last week,
Thank you,
but they
Shauna
weren't
Jo.
very cool. Anyway,
So some really exciting things to look forward to at the holidays. So really a lot of things happening in October, and then a little bit in December. November gives us a little bit of time to catch up. One of the updates that Jessica asked was about Harvest View, and we have really good news. City Council just approved Tuesday the bid award to go to the construction of Phase 2 at Harvest View Sports Park. And what that's going to entail is 400 parking stalls that are paved, all on the south side of the sports park. There'll be landscaping there at the entrance and throughout for future shade trees. And then we'll also have 8 pickleball courts that will kind of run toward the soccer fields on the south side up toward the railroad tracks. There'll be 8, as well as a restroom facility / we'll have a little concession stand. So when we have events out there, we can, sell things. And then we'll have
soccer fields and then pickleball going this
yes,
way.
and
People try to drive around that.
we'll have to look at that. It's definitely going to be all paved on one
Yeah,
side.
The parking goes almost to it, so I think
Like
it's going
long.
to cut off at to where they can't.
They can't because people
Yeah.
do now.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's- I mean, it's a. What? Okay, my more question about the old road that people used to use. People still use it. So will
right.
that problem be fixed if it's paved?
It
and
will,
you
because the
have to-
connection between the new road and the parking lot, that'll all be cleaned up with the new parking lot. It'll all be connected.
I was just even wondering if we could put something
They probably will
over
put
to
something to
the
block
old-
that off.
the
Yeah.
old road that people
Or
used to
pull
use.
out part of it to where it's not
Yeah, 'cause
accessible.
Not
that is
passable.
kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
A-
pretty
And then on the side of the soccer fields going north, imagine sidewalk with landscape and a little bit of grass there going up, and then connecting to a new playground. So
is
the
the
play
city doing that or the
the
development?
developers actually providing the playground, and I think that'll happen in the spring once weather kind of starts to warm up, but kind of in conjunction with the whole project. I think our timeline right now, I think we're looking for the project to be done by the end of May, I think is the goal. And so we are going to have a couple adjustments with like spring soccer. Most likely we'll have to do that off-site because they'll still be working on parking lots, and it won't be paved until they get into the paving season, which is usually mid-April. So we might need to work around some of the school grass areas and our Callaway field and so forth for soccer. So we'll make that work and let people know and keep them posted. But how exciting to consider by summer, all of that done, for Orchard Days, maybe a pickleball tournament, and really by fall sports season, everything just going out there. So
And what
super
was
excited.
the approved money amount for that?
The project is $2.7 million, and that is a bidding process, and they were the low bid and really a good company too. So we're super excited. That's being paid for out of park impact fee money, so money that can only be used for the development of parks. and it can't be used necessarily for fixing up older buildings or things of that nature. So very earmarked, very specific for that use. So, any other questions about Harvest View? How exciting! So what happened is, just to give you a heads up, we went out to bid in the spring, hoping to do the project in the summer, and the budget, it came out way more than that amount. Significantly. It was when everything was just sky high, and so I think there was a lot of wisdom in our city administration and city administrative staff and city council saying, we still want to do this, but let's just wait a few months until maybe the winter, because during the winter you can get a lot of things done if it's a dry winter. And so just by waiting even a few months, it's already paid off significantly, going to save us a lot of money.
Yeah, cool.
So super exciting.
Okay. Do we want to move to number 4, the active transportation plan?
Yes, and I knew that Sarah would ask me about this, so I wanted to make sure. I apologize. This process has taken a little bit longer than I thought, but it's a good process. Again, this is that grant that we received from Mountain Land Association of Governments for a active transportation plan, which is basically a trail plan. Now, the goal is to have this plan, I think, wrapped up by, I want to say, November-ish. So we're toward the tail end. They've had a lot of public input and have had a few meetings. This is under the scope of our planning commission. But I wanted to show you where we're at with the draft on the map. So the map that you have in front of you has the different colors. And so this is a tentative draft of what the vision is for this active transportation plan. And if you notice, it doesn't really delve into the mountains, because one, we don't really own a lot of land up in the mountains. But if you notice, there's a little green person, and it's identified as a potential trailhead, where that trailhead could then get us up to and access to a lot of the federal land that we know is there. We know that there's trails up there, we just don't own it. It's hard to say this trail is going to be here when we don't own the trail, right? So the plan gets us to trailheads where then we can work with partners and develop trails that then would go up in the mountains. I know you're just barely glancing at it. Is there anything that catches your mind or any thoughts that you have initially?
Can you just expand a little bit on what each one of those, what a paved multi-use path is compared to an active transportation route, what all that, different colors mean?
That is a really good question. And I don't know if I'm the best person to detail those. I know that there's some similarities. A lot of it has to do, like, I know we talked about what that community pedestrian corridor looks like compared to a urban active. They're different terms, and I apologize. I need the second piece, and maybe what I could do is email that out to you that has kind of a paragraph description of what each of those means. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly the difference. Why yellow is yellow versus. I do know with UDOT that obviously it's a state route, but they've also identified that as the U.S. Bicycle Route 77. So it's actually being recognized nationally, that route, as being a route where you can have bicycle use. And so what that could mean potentially in the future is maybe even some painted bike lanes out on there. So that's the light blue.
Is the orange, would that be like horse paths?
It's an unpaved trail, potential wildlife breaks.
I guess that's my question. Is there something designated here for equestrian?
You know what? I'm going to seek a little bit of clarification. I know that they definitely talked about equestrian.
And my next question is, who finalized this? What?
It's not finalized.
Oh, who was on the committee that proposed
So it's
that?
the planning commission.
Okay.
And then what we do is we reach out and invite the community. I know Andrew came to one of the planning meetings where they're just sharing input. There'll be some more planning before it's actually adopted.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So isn't this? Didn't they send a survey out to
They
do?
they did, and it was minimally.
Because I remember
Yeah.
I did the survey. So is part of this based off of the feedback on that survey, or?
Yes. And the reality is, what I will do to this group, where it's being hosted under the Planning Commission, is the next time that we have an actual meeting with the people that are doing the actual. I mean, I can email you some more information from them, but it would be great if you would be able to attend that meeting. That way, we have the actual group called Parametrics that actually is doing this. Those specific questions on that. That would be a really good question for them to ask or answer. The orange is definitely in an area that's not. I don't think that's paved. I think that's a very rough, natural area out on the outskirts.
And I'm assuming that orange area
Would probably
has
be
no
equestrian.
city control.
Some
Right?
of it in some
I'm
areas is
guessing.
privately owned, actually. So
Yeah, like
it's
the,
not even accessible.
on the East Bench, that's where they cut the fire break a couple of years ago. So a lot of that, once they flatten that out, they can use that same area
I
to
understand.
kind of clean up and go through that. So
Okay.
Your shared roadways are some pretty significant roads that we currently use. If you notice those pink roads, those are some well-used roads throughout the community. I think the yellow, the community pedestrian, is really geared toward the concept of City Hall being built on 100 South and really developing that road in the future with use along there.
your green, part of your green is asphalt trails. There's an asphalt trail along Highland Drive now, and then the trail that goes down Center Street and will continue on. So that's part of that. I don't know what it is on 300 West, but I know that's part of those trails.
300.
As you come out towards the Red Barn and tie in by the Chevron over there.
Oh.
There's nothing right there.
Yeah, it's
Right now.
yeah nothing right now. So I don't know if the
Wait,
plan is
that-
to put a trail or just the side of the road or what.
I'm confused with the map. That where it is green and it's labeled 300 West.
That's the road that goes up by Red Barn.
That goes past the Red Barn, correct?
But it starts out at 200 West and then it makes that jog. I'm with you. Okay.
You know, one thing that they talked about, and again, this is purely draft. They've got some things out there, like you see that little triangle. There nothing exists right there as far as getting over or under the freeway.
Right here.
Yes. Did you see their little red triangles?
Oh, I understand.
There's 3 of those out here. Some with trains, and that one was with the freeway. But those don't exist. I think what this is showing is there's potential if there was another way to connect, whether you tunneled under or you had a bridge that went over, things that are usually really, really expensive. But this map shows how it potentially could be. So there will be a few things like that aren't necessarily something that you'll see in the near future, but just, hey, this could be really neat if you could connect at this location. So again, this is all very draft format. I will see what information I can get to you before the next meeting that they plan, which is probably going to be in November, and then I will invite you to attend the next meeting. And again, we can spread the word to Andrew and anyone equestrian-wise as well. I know that the dirt paths are always open to things like equestrian or off-road vehicles, things of that nature. So I just wanted to let you know kind of where that's at.
Okay.
So it's a process, and it's definitely it's moving forward.
So the plan for this, if I understand correctly, is this will go into the general plan, right? When it's
Yeah.
all
This is part of it.
finalized, and then that's where we start having the developers do what's in that plan, right?
Yeah.
What's the plan? Obviously, there's areas in the city that are already developed and all that. Is there going to be a plan that the city comes up with to maybe start implementing some of this, or do we know, or is that too far out in the future to really?
Well, I think when that question was brought up earlier, in one of their previous meetings, it's just at what cost, right?
Yeah.
And so it just kind of depends as we go forward. I think, like John said, this is something that's going to be, this is a large vision
Yeah.
for a long period of time. But really, if they can start to earmark or prepare some of these areas for as the developers come in, they can do their portion. You know, like that trail on Highland Drive, that's with that Foothill Village development. They've put that all in and done that landscaping. So I think that's the goal as far as picking up areas. It's all about money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because this was part of, I mean, it's like a 30-year plan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it'll happen.
And the other
real
thing it'll be
soon.
a part of, so yes, the general plan, but also starting this fall, and this group will be party to this as well, is we're going to start our Parks and Recreation Master Plan update. So we usually do that every 5 or 6 years. The last one was 2016. And City Council's approved a company by the name of Blue Line Design that's worked on our last master plan. They'll be taking the lead on that and working with us here soon. But this will fit right into all their research to be part of our master plan for that too. So basically, once you have this, and now you go to a grant type of thing, you can say, hey, we want to do it because it's part of our plan, and we actually have a documentation, and we're already starting on it. And it goes a lot further in getting grant funds.
I just had a question. Is that survey from that company still available if we wanted to still share that, or is it closed, or
I will
how
find.
could you still access
I will
that
find
if we
that
wanted
out.
to continue to share?
Yeah.
Because it sounded like not very many people participated. Is that what you said?
Yes, and they advertised that the same way they did all the general plan. So I don't think it was from lack of effort, just and then maybe there was some confusion on, hey, we're already filling out a survey for the general plan, and we're filling out lots of surveys, but it was advertised to a lot of people. I will find out if it's still an option,
Okay.
or if they've already kind of encapsulated their information
Yeah.
and they've kind of wrapped things up. Okay, so I'm writing down my homework right now. So the first part is to get you guys more information on the difference of these areas. And the second one is to invite you to a future meeting with the Planning Commission. And then the third one is to find out more about the survey. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, and to answer, like Keela was asking about equestrian trails and stuff, but I know like all the trails that like Payson's put in and everywhere, usually the trails are shared with bikers, hikers, and horses.
And that would be a big argument from any horse owner to not have that be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Shared-
think
a
they did
shared
recognize
path.
that.
No,
in
I
their
think it's
previous meeting.
pretty common.
I was gonna
It's
say
common
I
practice.
mean, of
Common,
course,
but they
of
don't-
course, the bikers and the horses.
they
people
oftentimes
don't,
will put
but
a
it
dirt.
is.
They oftentimes will make the trail for bikers and rollerbladers, and then off this side is an easement that's just dirt,
Not
which
a
allows.
Payson and stuff, and they've made it, but don't know.
Let's find out, and let's get a few of those questions brought up at our next planning meeting.
That would be awesome.
I think that would be great. So, good.
I'm gonna
Um,
go ahead and excuse myself if that's
thank you.
okay. I'm worried that they're gonna finish class and I won't be there to help them lock up and clean up.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Shannon Joe.
Okay.
The other thing that is really cool is I, for the first time, went up Santaquin Canyon with my family about a month ago. It was the day they were bringing all the cattle down. And I was taking our little dog and walking, and we passed about 100 people with their dogs and just people with strollers and just enjoying the canyon road. And I understand right now that it's been closed for some, I believe, repair. And so I think good things are happening there with the canyon as well. So
except for a lot of people don't want it to open because they like their trail. So that's going to be the trail that's going to be one worked on. But I'm glad it's opening.
Oh, I am too.
it's just, I just thought what a beautiful extension of our community. And I know I've heard people talk about it. I've heard our mayor talk about it a lot. And I'm just having actually just walked up the road a little bit with the family and seeing that.
First time?
That was our first time going up that canyon. I've been up Nebo Loop on the backside 100 times.
Well,
But
Santaquin Canyon's a little secret.
Pretty
that-
neat. And I will throw out something that we're working on, and I apologize I keep talking, but I've talked to a company that does races, and it's the same company that does the Blossom Run with the Red Barn. We talked about a little partnership there, but we're talking about doing a future half marathon down the canyon. So once it opens up again, we could literally start up quite a ways and then end at the Red Barn. And this company they do events with thousands of runners. And so the secret could be secret, or we could say, hey, come enjoy this wonderful. So we're having some pre-discussions on that. So anyway.
Okay, let's move on to number 5, the Fun Run series.
I'm sorry. You gotta hear me one more time. I'm just like, man, I gotta pick some things that I don't have to talk about. This one I really wanted some feedback from you guys, and I can do some surveys with the community and so forth. It's very the running community. It's very different. Everyone's different. You've got your strong core runners that they want larger runs, longer runs, and they want timing, a time system, and they want it to be competitive, and there's a lot of things like that. Then there is the spectrum of casual runners and 5K, or I want to be able to walk, or take the stroller, or take the dog, all the way to the fun run. And so one of the things that we've been brainstorming is we would like to have 4 or 5 events next year that are along the lines more of maybe a fun run series, where they're kind of tied to a theme. Whether it's Earth Days is a trail run, we get up into the hills and we do a trail run, and we've talked about a duathlon with a bike run, that there's different levels for kids and adults. At what level of competition, knowing that on the peripheral we have the Blossom Run, and you've got some, the Orchard Day 5K that's growing in size, and maybe a future half that are very competitive, bring people from the outside, and then compare that to just some fun runs that get our community involved and more active. What do you think about that concept?
I think it's great. I think that you're going to get more people on the ones that are a little more. I mean, you need to have a variety, because I know that there's people that want more of a competitive feel, and if it's always just like a little fun run, it's usually people that don't really like to run.
And so maybe even the concept, even if they're
You know what
fun,
I mean?
we still time them. We can still time them.
Yeah.
And maybe the term fun run maybe turns some people off. Maybe the idea is that it's a
And it turns some people
Santaquin
on.
run
It'll attract
series.
people. They're like, oh, I want to do that. That's just a little more laid back. But then you're gonna also get those people that are wanting like more of a serious, or trying to be the time. They're looking for more runs to join. So I think like you said, like do a trail run one, do a duathlon, do just a little family one, do something a little more competitive. I think just have a variety. And
I'm a runner.
So Jessica, tell us what do you
I
think?
would never do a fun run, because to me that's a waste of my time, and it's not. So,
The
but
only one I'd do.
see, if you can combine a 5K and a 10K, then I would do a 10K, because that would be more competitive. So I think you would have to combine them to appeal to the widest amount of people. But fun runs are always fun.
Well,
for the
it's
family,
it's
but I
almost
just-
a 10K to go from Centennial Park around up to Summit Ridge and back. Is a loop is I think it's pretty close.
It's very close. I do it all the time. So
That'd be a fun one.
the half marathon idea, I love that idea up the canyon, because I do Hobble Creek and Nebo. But then I'm with Sarah where I'm like, no, because I never
Don't tell
really
everyone.
know. But I would love that if you do a half marathon down the canyon. I think in the fall there's no better thing to
So
do,
let's talk
honestly.
a little bit about awards. Some. Oh, go ahead.
Before you
Go ahead, Dave.
move, I guess my thought on it is, who are you trying to attract? So are you trying
Yeah.
to get, say, families out for a fun activity, or are you trying to get serious runners out? I mean, I think you have to come up with what you want, what you're trying to get.
Also community based versus
Yeah, because I'm not a runner, but I know that there is a lot of private businesses that put on, half marathons or things like that, or other places that put those on. And do you want to compete with them, or do you want to do your own thing and come up with a fun run or something like that? I mean, so I think you got to decide
Who's the audience?
Yeah, what you
Yeah,
want.
your fun run's probably going to get more Santaquin residents, whereas the competitive ones will be geared. You'll have people from all over,
And Payson used to do a little fun run every year, because my whole family would go. It would be like a big family event. They charged $1 a person. So then at least they kind of know what to expect. They gave him just a cheap little.
and I think that would be a fun, because there was, I can't remember, maybe it was the Cherry Blossom. I don't know. Some of my kids wanted to do it, but the fee was like $25. And when you have like 6 kids, and I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna pay that to go run. But if you had like a family one where it was $5 or even $1 or something, but you could do like the whole spectrum, and I think that would make a fun series if you had different calendar events for it.
And I think the goal is to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That there are some events that bring people from out of the area that are kind of economic drivers. There are events that tend to lead to people who are more competitive, better awards, things of that nature that are a little bit. And then there's those that are maybe we've got family, they're really affordable, or there's family pricing or something where it's a costume run or it's the superhero run.
I think you'd want your more fun runs based around community events, like the Orchard Days or like a Santa run or a turkey trot, those kinds of things.
Yeah, turkey trot.
Would be more of a fun run.
Win a
to
turkey
me.
to take home or something.
I would do that.
Okay, all right. Good feedback. I was going to mention that one of the things that we're seeing is collectibles. I think St. George has a series now where if they do these different runs, they get these really cool socks. So like swag is a big thing now. So not as much important to win the medal, but what comes with it. What do you collect? And so we could even capture that with some of the series as well. And then the other question I wanted to ask, and you can continue to throw out ideas, is when we call it a series could be just that there's multiple. Or it could be that you have to run 2 out of 3 to get the t-shirt. Or you've got to run 2 out of 3 or all of them to receive the whatever. What do you, is there some things that direction too that we could look at?
I've done those before, and you do have to do all 3.
Is there some motivation to do that?
Yeah, they're also more competitive though. It's not like a fun run. In my experience of what I've done,
Okay.
It's more competitive, and it's like you do these 3 and you'll get an extra medal. And well, the last one I did was a turkey thing, so yeah, pies and turkeys and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely more of a competitive thing instead of just a fun run. But it could be all of them, you know, like a community-based one, or you do the Orchard Days, you do the, I don't know, whatever, you know, in the fall, and then your family gets a prize. I don't know, something like that. But
yeah, I agree. Like if you did do that, then you'd need to have
Something cool at the
them
end.
all competitive.
Okay.
Like to win the shirt or whatever.
Or you can compete in all of them, but to get whatever that the carrot is at the end, or not the carrot, but the prize at the end, the carrot's up front, right? You've got to do all of them to get, and it's got to be something worth their time. Okay. All right. Well, we're just thinking with all the different programs, again, we're always looking at a little bit of variety and looking that could be an area where maybe it starts out kind of focusing on some of these family specific to Santaquin residents and families first, and then maybe one of them grows, or they take this identity, and then of course we look at this partnership with this other company and develop the things that are kind of based around the Red Barn and the tourism that brings in agritourism, right? And do a little bit of both. Anyone here would do a duathlon, bike run?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. That one's potentially legit too. So
You didn't even finish his question.
so I was gonna say you could walk the bike and walk next to a horse, or ride the horse and pull the bike.
I'll just stand on this side and be a cheerleader.
Okay. Thank you for your
I'll
input.
feed the horse. Pass that water to the bikers.
duathlons aren't as popular, and I think you'd get a big crowd of on the more competitive side, because there's not as many duathlons.
If the reservoir idea ever came to pass and we had access to, you know, a piece of water that was, you know,
Triathlon.
yeah, then you could do a try. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you. That's I was hoping to get some good, just general feedback. So thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything from board members they want to talk about or bring up? Nope. Are we good? We got anything? We covered everything? Okay. Well, our next meeting will be Thursday, January 20th. I guess I should, are there people leaving the board and joining but before then?
I think there's actually 2 members that time does expire in January. And so I think Keela and Jessica, their time both expires at the end of the year. And so what we've done is just given a list to the mayor to review whether there's reappointments or whether it's time to let someone else try it or so forth. But, you know, it is a proper time to say thank you, no matter what happens for your time and effort. we appreciate with both of you as well as the whole board. So I will find out and touch base with the mayor and be in touch with both of you. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. I forget that. Yeah, where we don't meet monthly, we won't have that discussion in December, will we?
Yep.
So-
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
All motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Meeting's adjourned.
Okay. Thank you.